Good evening, folks. It's Friday night 9-ball and tournament's underway. We're just a few minutes late. We had a bit of problems getting our X-split started for some reason. Well, the good news is this week we'll be able to see all of the tournament because I've got the rest of the week off. I've been off all week, so that's the good news. The slightly bad news is there's not quite as big a turnout this week. Maybe people are away on holiday or vacation, as they say in the States. Let's have a look at the bracket. And we'll see that we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got an even field. There's just the 8 in it. Remember, it's handicap, race to 7. We've got Houdini against Tony Sam. Houdini's getting the 5 ball. Tony Sam's up 1-0. Larry's playing DJ Redo. DJ Redo's getting 7 and out. Larry's up 1-0. Popman and Tommy U. Popman is getting a 7 ball. It's still 0-0 in that one. And finally, we've got Tom Webbs, who's getting 5 and out against Bedhead. Now, that's a tough proposition, but that match doesn't seem to be underway, so that might mean that Tom Webbs or one of them hasn't turned up, and the room hasn't started yet. So I'm just going to do a quick update for there, and now what one will we go for? I think the Tommy U Popman sounds a good bet, but let's see if that room is up and running right now. Tom Webbs and Bedhead, and it looks as if Tom Webbs is a goner. He has signed up but has failed to materialise, so that looks like a forfeit in the first round in that match. So the match we're going to go in and watch is Popman and Tommy U. Just checking the stream's actually got a green light at the moment. Right, so here we are. Player 1 is Popman. He's getting a 7 ball. And let's just remind us where these guys are from. We've got Tommy U from Germany, Popman from England. We'll just let them know. I'll just do a quick check of my little doodle thing. Right, that seems to be working okay. So we're still in the first rack here. We've got Popman, a 2000 rated player, and Tommy U 2158. Now, if we had gotten to the other side of that 8 ball, it would have been a lot easier to get nicely on the 5. If he was playing from there to the 4 ball, he could have came up with the 5. He's just got to miss the 8 ball. He's still okay. So we'll definitely be able to see all of the tournament this week, barring breakdowns or internet connections going down. Now this could do with a delicate little shot to leave that 8 ball in the middle, but it needs a deft touch. He might play the 8 ball into the same pocket. Well, I think that's what he's tried. He just actually needed to run another. Well, forgetting. There we go. First rack straight away. As always, I've forgotten about the handicap. He only needed the 7 ball, didn't he? So Popman is up 1-0. That's his extra money ball, the 7 ball. If he can get that with a legal shot during the rack, he wins the rack. and we've lost the 5 ball in the break, and I think he can clip that 1 ball in. Can you see enough of it? I think he can maybe just bend it round the 4 and catch the edge of that 1, or maybe he can get it clean. It looks tight. No, it was too tight. Hit the 3, ball in hand. So same as always, when it's ball in hand for a 2,100 player, I'm expecting them to run out, and the first difficulty here is getting on the 3, so he's played it safe. And now he can come out between the gap with the 6 and the 9. If he can come out to there, ideally a bit further. Well, he's went the other side. If he keeps running, he'll be perfect. He's got a nice angle in the 4 to get on that 6. Remember also the danger of the overdraw in this shot with the 7 ball being off the back rail, and he's just going to go a bit too far. That's him now potting into a blind pocket, and the cue ball's running around the table here. Now if he misses the 9, he can get on the 8. If he just plays this plain ball, the path of the cue ball's going to be going close to the 9, I think. Well, he's avoided the 9, and he actually got the 8, but he's forgot about the 7. And I think that's pretty safe. It's a thin cut. I think Potman will go for it. He needs to either delicately pot this or pot it with power to get the cue ball off that bottom rail, or the top rail as we look. Well, he's going to scratch. That was always the danger. So definitely this time Tommy Yu will tie the match up. So 1 rack all, race to 7, winner breaks. Remember, it's spot money as well, so if any of the money balls go down in the break, they'll be respotted. Well, I'll correct that. If Tommy Yu had potted the 7 ball there off the break, that would stay down, because that's Potman's money ball, and that would mean that Potman then has to get to the 9 ball to win the rack. Well, that's finished nowhere, but Potman should try and tuck this 2 ball in behind the 7 and the 4, and also tuck the cue ball away as well. He can either nudge the 2 up the table, but if he does that and doesn't get close to anything, it'll be easy enough to jump to get to the 2. Well, Potman's just dug a hole for himself here. Tommy Yu should tuck him in behind the 7. Now Potman's in trouble. But, well, sorry, not Potman, but the problem for Tommy Yu, if he gets in here, is the 4 and the 7 are tied up. And that needs to get to a rail. Well, he's missed it anyway, so. Well, Tommy's made his mind up. He's going to try and 3-foul Potman. Although that's a fairly big target, that 2 ball, because if he actually tries to hit it direct and misses it, he could hit off the bottom rail and kick into the 2, but he looks as if he's going to try and jump this, but it looks far too close. Well, there is a couple of inches there. He seems confident he can jump over it, and he's done it. Hasn't got the pot, but he got the hit. But there's enough space there now for Tommy to cut that in. and he'll be on the 3, but it looks like it's going to have to be a 4-7 combo. He can't get position in the 4. So the question is whether he then just takes his medicine and draws back off this 3. And this isn't a great angle to get nicely on that rail, I don't think. Well, he stunned it up the table. I don't know what he was trying. I don't even think that's a good bank because the 4's too close to the rail. So he's just trying to get cover. And that is not bad, but in truth here, Potman should have him in trouble. He should have him stuck behind that 8 and try and get it as tight as he can. He's got to get a rail, remember, and that's not going to get there. So that's just bad control of power. Ball in hand again for Tommy Yu. And that's more trouble for Tommy. That's a thin cut back into the pocket. And the cue ball's going to run around into that 9, but he might still have a shot in the 6 if he plays the cut. Well, he's went the other way. He probably would have been better playing the cut, to be honest with you. I presume Potman can see that. Yes, he can. So an unexpected chance for Potman. And I remember this time he only needs a 7 ball after this 6, so he should be home and dry as long as he can get as close to the left hand rail. And that looks reasonably okay. I think the 7 is, well, it's right on the rail, so he's got to be careful here. It's right on it. And that's why things like that happen. Snatched at it. Didn't play it with a lot of confidence. And Tommy's breathing a sigh of relief. He's getting a second bite at the cherry. Well, he's going to have to work this cue ball though. He's going to have to force this 8 ball in to get the cue ball out to make the potting angle in the 9. So this is still a bit dodgy, but he's got it clean. So Potman has thrown away his chance there. Tommy's into the lead. Let's try a little change here. Miscellaneous. There. A little change of colour. Well, dry break. Oh no, he's got the 6 ball. Never noticed 6 balls going down. Well, this is a good table. Balls are sitting perfect. Now, how does he get this 3? Get the 2 and hold for the 3, or come back across to the 3. He has to make a positive decision here. Well, he's tried to be really delicate. In the end, he's got nothing. He can try the billiard onto the 5, but even that isn't set right, so he's playing the hook. And that's a good shot. Nice and tight. That's what you've got to do. You've got to get the cue ball nailed to the object ball when you're trying to play safes in this game, because these guys will just jump over them. So Tommy's got his reward. He's got ball in hand again, and look at the way the balls are sitting. Right, let me just check something here. We've got a problem in the chat here. Maybe I've given them the wrong link. Maybe I should have just given them... Right, apologies. I think we should be okay now. Well, for some reason, I had chosen to go to YouTube Live Gaming tonight to start the stream, and it must be defaulted by having the chat off, because I don't touch that. I've got it enabled, and I looked at it in the little cog wheel that I've got on the stream page, and when I looked at it, the disabled chat or enable live chat was unchecked. I never touched that, so I've checked the box, so it seems to be working now. Anyway, welcome to the stream. We're going all the way tonight, folks. There's only 8 players in the tournament, and they'll be here to the very last ball. We won't be cutting it short. We've had a little change of cloth colour. The green was getting a bit boring, so now you get the brighter blue. And meanwhile, with that little interlude that we've had, Tommy Hughes got himself into a 3-1 lead. We're doing a bit of tip-tapping here on the 1 ball. 3 and the 4 balls tied up, so there's work to be done. Well, that's a pretty good shot by Potman. Let's have a look at that. Well, he's going to have to dig himself out a big hole here, Tommy. He's got the angle to kick into the 1. Well, he's overdone that. Didn't get there at all. Now what does Potman do? He can try for the 3 foul himself here, because these balls are sitting nice if he plays this wisely. Now if he plays it that way, he's going to have to get really good. He's got to try and punch this 1 ball away and stick the cue ball onto the 9. I don't know what he's doing here. He's not going to... First of all, he's not going to run the table. So the first thing you do then is stick that 1 ball away and stick the cue ball right onto the 9. Why he's taking this 1 and trying to go on the 2, I don't know. You've got to play percentages here, and he had a great chance to have Tommy Hughes in a lot of trouble, and that was not the right choice of shot. Now he's going to blast the 2 and try and get lucky and somehow move the 3 and the 4. It's just not on. This is what I talk about, looking at the lay of the table and thinking about your odds and trying to make things simple for yourself. The simplest thing to do was to punch the what ball was it? The 1 ball, punch the 1 ball away and stick the cue ball right on the 9 and leave Tommy Hughes in trouble, because I've seen how he tried to kick that ball earlier on there. He got nowhere near it. Hit the 8 ball instead. again, Potman's got a chance here. He's overdone it, and he could find himself in trouble if Tommy you can see enough of that 3 ball. I don't think he can. Well, I might be tempting fate here, but the stream is going good tonight. It's actually not buffering my end. I'm looking at it with the couple of second delay that I normally get, and it seems to be running at the moment. Which seems strange. I don't know why. Not that I'm complaining. So the 3 and the 4 are now split up. The 7 balls gone in, so that's Tommy Hughes did himself a favour. So that's got rid of Potman's money ball, and he's got a delicate thin cut in the 3. But if he puts a bit of right hand spin on this, he can avoid the 9 ball, and he doesn't look as if he's doing it. But he needs a bit of spin on it to avoid going into the 9, I think. Well, he's managed it, but he's missed the pot. And there's the result came in, and Houdini would be getting a hefty handicap with Tony Sam. And Houdini has won the match 7-3. So here's Potman's chance now. He's got to run the table. And he's got a good angle in the 4, and that will get him back up for the 5. That needs to keep going, get past that 9 so he's no queuing over it. He looks as if he's queuing over it. So now the run out has become a bit more difficult here. This cue ball's going to run up towards the 8, and it needs to slow down. That's not bad. Now this needs a little delicate draw, just a soft draw off this 6, just to kill the pace in the cue ball. He doesn't want to let this cue ball run away. And that's exactly the shot he had to play there, that little soft draw, just to stop it chasing away. And now he's got a perfect angle. And it needs a wee bit of spin as well. He could stun it in, but that's a dangerous shot. But just to get that cue ball over to the right. And he's just played it plain, and the problem now is he's not sitting nice on the 9. He could have been further. He should have that cue ball over here, at least. And he could have done that with a spin. But he's got the 9. Made it harder for himself, but he got it. So he's only trailing by 1. Oh, now we're buffering. Just as I open my mouth, the stream's now buffering. So Potman is going to break off in rack number 6. And the 3 ball's going to go in. And in it goes. And he's got a shot in the 1 because it passes between the 2 and the 9. Not a good shot. What's that angle like? Well, that's poker straight. And he's going to scratch, I think, near enough it. No, he's alright. Well, he could try the cut because that 8 ball makes the pocket a bigger pocket. He's got it clean. That's a good shot. How's his luck in the 5? I don't think it's going to be very good, is it? Oh no, he's fine. Everyone's going okay. I'm panicking for him. And he's just had a bit too much juice in that one. Now, of course, the 7 ball doesn't go past the 9. Now, can he come round the angles? It needs to be really tight round the angles to get over there for the 7. There, there, and there. Well, he had the pace perfect following the line, but he's missed the 6. Got absolutely pristine on that 7 ball. And now, of course, Tommy Yu has made the mistake at the wrong time, because if Potman can get off this 6 and onto the 7, he'll win the rack. And a little draw. Still a testy shot in this 7. That's a good shot. So we're all square. But that's the pressure of getting to the money ball end of the rack. As soon as you get to that end, the pressure's on the higher rated player, because he knows he definitely cannot afford any errors at all, because they're going to get punished. And Potman, once again, I don't think he's got anything happening here. Well, if he's taking this long, it's going to be a good shot to get on the 2, and that's a good effort. The cue ball's going to be running away again. Now, if he plays this at the right pace, he could finish up here. He might go near the 4. Just a bit too strong. Still got a shot in the 3, and he should definitely then be on the 4, but once again, it's a testy 3 ball this. He needs to be careful he doesn't get into it too much. He's let it run. He's now playing at distance here. Now that 5 ball, of course, doesn't go past the 6. So he's either going to have to try and nudge into it or play a combo. Well, the billiard looks better, I have to say. That might be... And it's not sitting perfect for a good billiard from that 5 onto the 6, but that's what he's going to have to try and do. Just try and nudge the cue ball onto the 6. Well, in the end, he's chickened out and done neither, and he's left ball in hand, so I don't know what was going through his head there. He maybe hit the ball when he didn't mean to. Probably swinging the mouse backward and forward there and hit it by accident. And it's again, maybe this is the pressure getting to Tommy, because once again we're getting to the end of the rack where he can't afford a mistake. And already he's made 1, and that's his 2nd one. And Potman, well, this looks dead easy, just a cut in the 6, and Barron snooker himself behind the 8 or the 9 here. He should have the 7 into the middle. It looks all too easy. Now Potman, I always get worried when somebody spends too much time looking at a ball. You can see what you have to do, just don't let the cue ball get away, and he's got the gap. And now the other mistake you don't make is potting the 7 and scratching in this bottom right hand corner. Just pot it, pocket weight, nothing else. So there you go. 2 mistakes in the last 2 racks duly punished by Potman, and Potman's now in the lead. 4 racks to 3. But Potman can't buy a ball in the break. But he's got it safe. There's no shot for Tommy Yu. I don't know whether he can feather the edge of that one. No, he can't. He obviously thought he could. Now, the thing Potman should do here is stick him behind the 6. Get him nailed right behind the 6. He needs to get that cue ball further over to the right to make it nice and tight and put pressure on Tommy Yu. Don't leave any gap. See, he's left a gap there. He could have that cue ball stuck on that 6. He's left a space. I don't think it's big enough to jump, although, having said that, Potman jumped one similar to this earlier on. So, Tommy Yu's missed the kick. It's ball in hand, and the balls are all in the open. And this is where you use your shot clock. You just look at the table, look at the lay of the balls, think about what you're doing with the cue ball. Now, the 1, the 2 and the 3 should be fairly straightforward. You're just going to kill the cue ball, roll the 2 in and make sure he doesn't leave himself the wrong angle in this 3. He doesn't want to be finishing here in the 3. He wants to be here in the 3. And that's exactly what he's done. He's finished. Well, he's actually far enough back that he's not going to be impeded by the pocket. That was the concern I had there. I think he's okay. I think he can just drop this in and run through 2 or 3 inches. Yeah, he's fine. So this is the important one. Avoiding the traffic and getting down to that 5 ball. Plenty of room to get there. Well, he's going to hit the 8. Now, is it doing him a favour? I think it has. Now, this needs a delicate one. This is where you've just got to drop it in dead weight or hit it with enough power to get the cue ball off that bottom. Well, he's going too far. He's did neither. And that's a chance thrown away. And this is, again, where the player isn't either confident of his ability to do a certain shot. And he went the other way and then he didn't even hit it with enough power. That cue ball should have bounced another 2 feet off that bottom rail there, back up, so he could have a shot in a 6. Now he can play the reverse bank, or he can try and just get it safe. And, well, there's the result come in there. Larry's beaten DJ Redo by 7 racks to 4. And that 6 ball is a bank. And in it goes. So, Potman couldn't come up with the goods. And it's a chance for Tommy Yu. Now here's where he's going to feel the pressure, because he knows this 8 ball is not easy. You've got to watch that jaw there. And he's got to get the cue ball out for the 9. Oh, and that just caught the jaw there to get in. And this is still a wee testy one. So in it goes. And Potman should be kicking himself there. So we're tied up again. 4 racks all. And Tommy Yu has caught the Potman disease. Can't get a ball. Now here's a chance to get the cue ball. See, straight away I can see the safety. I mean, I don't know why Potman's not looking at it. Get that cue ball down here and send a 1 back to the bottom rail. Again, he's gone for a bank. The thing is, if you're going to play shots like that, you've got to back it up. He's going for the attacking option, so he's on the 2, so now he's got to run out. And he's blown it straight away in the 2 ball. You've got to, I keep using the old Clint Eastwood line, you've got to know your limitations. And if you don't have the confidence and the ability to run the rack, then you'd be better off making it difficult for your opponent. But these players just haven't, they've still got a one-dimensional brain when it comes to playing games. They just don't think. You've got to have a lot more in your armoury than trying to pot every ball on the table when you just cannot do it. Well, Tommy Yu has made the mistake, so here is Potman's second chance. He's only got the 5, the 6 and the 7 to pot. Now this 5 is simple. You just drop it in, get the cue ball out about a foot, take the 6 ball long into the bottom left hand pocket, and he should just run straight through with this 6 ball. Get the cue ball down to here so he's playing that 7 into the right middle. Just let the cue ball travel. Well, he's got there. Now again, he's looking at an angle that you don't really need to look at. It's a straightforward pot into the middle. So, one way or another, Potman's managed to scrape his way through that rack. He's back in the lead. But you're in this position now, Potman. You've got to keep the pressure on. And look at what's happened here. He's got a dry break. Now, Tommy Yu, if he uses his noggin here, will be either trying to cut that one and has to get on the 2-ball because he has to try and play the combo. Well, he's got it. And this will be a very quick rack, I think. It will even go in off the 5. Just got to get it lined up. Oh, he's overdone it. Well, that's still a danger. But you would think the only ball that's going to get played onto that 9 is the 4-ball. There's 3 balls nowhere near it. It's hanging over the bottom right hand pocket. So let's see what Potman can do. He needs to get right down to the bottom rail if he can. Oh dear. Well, the things are going from bad to worse here. And I think Potman's feeling the pressure of knowing what's required of him there. Well, Tommy used combo to 5, but well, what can he do here? Let's have a look. Let's have a closer look at what he's got. Has he got a gap there? Well, he's trying a swervy shot. No, he's caught the edge. And he's on the 3. I don't think he would be playing a 4-9 combo. I think he'll be trying to get onto this 4 into the bottom left. But I think he's straight. Well, that nudge off the 6 has just killed the pace, but he's okay. So here's the nitty gritty. And again, it's a simple shot, this. The cue ball can go through and out for the 7 into the middle. And that's all you need to do. And he's found a line just in that little space there. And I think the angle he's got now is a bit much here, so he just got to go past the 8-ball and maybe come up the other side of it. He could go past it and come up this side and leave the 8 into the middle. The angle's there to do it. He's put a bit of bottom on it, and now he's in a sort of no man's land. Let's just get squared up. He should be okay though. It looks alright from here. Just drop the 9-ball in. So we're 5-all now. Looking very likely we're going to go all the way. Now, something went in that time. Now, what was it? The 7-ball, was it? Or the 6? 6-ball's gone. And Tommy's got a bank on the 1. Looks a good bank, it has to be said. He's got... Again, he's got a bank in the 2. It looks pretty good as well if he just measures it. And he should be on the 3. Well, he's went the other way. Went for the thin cut. It's a good shot. Now, the reason I say he had to measure that 2-ball there, if he was going to play the bank, it wasn't a dead set bank. You just had to push it to the rail to make the bank at the right angle, so that's why he went for the cut. It was a good shot, but he needs another good one. Where's the cue ball? Well, it's not going to get there. But I think he's alright. He can at least see the 4. Now the safety. And that looks reasonable. Potman is going to have to do something with the cue ball here. He can bend it round a 9. But he looks as if he's going to try and jump it, I think. But It's easy enough just to bend it round. Plenty of room between the 9 and the 5 to spin that cue ball around the 9. Out comes the jump stick. It's the answer to everybody's problems. That needs to keep running the 4 ball. It needs to keep going to that top rail. And it isn't quite there. And Tommy Yu trying to keep things tight. But he's not got it, and if Potman gets this right, he could have Tommy in trouble. And this is a delicate control shot to try and bring that cue ball back to the 9. Well, he's decided just to try and push the 4 further up the rail. It's still safe, but it's not put any major pressure on Tommy. Tommy can try something similar. He can punch the 4 down towards us and take the cue ball back over towards the 9. And if it gets to the 5, that'll do it. Well, I think it's just nudged it enough. Can Potman see that? Let's have a closer look. Yes, he can see it. And he can also make the cut on it. But I don't think he's playing it. But he can't play the cut. It's very thin. In fact, it's not that bad. He should be able to pot that. I don't think he's looked at this 5 ball closely enough. There's plenty of room to get to the 4. But he's decided against it and going for the other safe. But did he zoom in close on that to look at the space he had? Maybe not. Maybe he did and thought it's not worth the risk. Well, the double kiss there has done Tommy a favour. But we've seen what the guys are like with the jump sticks. This is an easy jump, and he'll be looking to pot this 4. Now, the pace that he'll have in the cue ball's not going to be a great deal, but it needs to be enough for that cue ball to come off the rail and get out, to have a shot in a 5 if he pots this 4. And he's done that, and he's also done the second part of it, finished right on the line, and he's got a shot in a 5. And remember, he just needs the 5 and the 7. Where's the cue ball finishing up? I think that's pretty good. I don't think he'll miss this. Just get it lined up and get it in the hole. So, Potman back into the lead. And breaking off in rack number 12. Sitting on the hill. Just one more required. But we're all dry again tonight. Prohibition on the break here. And Tommy Yu's now got his back against the wall. He's got no shot in the 1. He's looking to get it safe, but there's a bit more pace in that 1 ball than he'd want, but I think he's alright. That's pretty much covered. Well, this will be good if he can just tuck between that 8 and 3, and he's done that. Is there a wee bit of that 1 ball sticking out? Yes, there is again. Now, similar shot it should be for Potman. Bank that 1 to the top right hand corner. Bank the 1 over to here and get the cue ball down to here. Try and use those balls for cover. And he's no got it. I think he played the bank, and that he's ran it into the 3. And this is giving Tommy a chance. Not a great chance, I have to say, but it's given him a chance. But the cue ball's going in the right direction. Now, how does he deal with this 4 ball? He could if he pots the 3 and doesn't get an angle to get in there, but he can certainly punch the 4 up the table and stick that cue ball right behind the 9. But he's missed the 2. There's only one other way to pot that 4. And again, this is hoping for some sort of crazy positional shot. I'll use my line to get sort of about there to make the cut in the 4, and that's awkward. So I'd be looking at playing a tight safety off that 4. Now Tommy Yu is going to have to play the 3-7 combo. Now he needs to get this, because if he leaves it hanging, he's dead and buried, and he's got it. And now he's actually got a good angle in this 3. If he gets a bit of bottom in this, he can try and draw up the rail. Well, he's did neither. He's played that position I was talking about. That's the only place you could get to pot the 4 is there, and that's pretty good. And he's taken away Potman's money ball, so that means that they're playing scratch here now to the 9 ball. And this is a tester. He's got the cut in the 5. He needs to avoid hooking himself behind the 8 to get on this 6 ball. Oh dear. Well, he's finished in the worst place. And this is difficult to judge. He's going to have to leave the 8 ball long into that top left hand corner pocket. He's just got to try and avoid going up the rail. And that's what he's tried. So now he's going into a blind pocket. And he needs to just draw this in. Just get a bit of bottom and draw so he can go over for the 9. And play the 8 ball the way it should be played. And that's perfect. Oh, where's the cue ball ended up though? Well, he's dead, pretty dead straight on it. And it goes. So we're going all the way. We're 6 all. And that was a good rack for Tommy Yu to win there. Final rack decider. And already this match has been going just short of, well, probably more than 50 minutes, because I joined it late. We're already 48 minutes into the stream. And Tommy Yu's potted the 5 and the 6 off the break, but once again, he's got no luck here. He's hooked on the 1, so he's just playing the push out, probably going to pot the 9. No, he's not bothering. Well, I still like the chance of playing a safety here. I still like the idea of coming off that 1 and getting the cue ball down here and trying tucking it away. The angle's there to do it. Just got to miss the 4 ball. And you'd be sending that 1 ball down towards that, or up towards the 3. Needs a bit of right hand spin on the cue ball here if he's going to play that shot, to get the cue ball to kick off the side rail and push it down towards the corner. We'll see what he does. He might do something entirely different. Well, he's went for the bank again and he's scratched. So again, Potman, I have to say, wrong choice of shot. He should be trying to keep things tight and not giving him a gift of an opportunity here. And I think Potman has possibly played his last shot there. I would think that Tommy Yu's now got himself fully focused. But don't forget, that 7 ball still in the table. And as long as the 7 ball's sitting there, Potman's still got a chance. That needs to keep going, and it's travelling nicely. Now a little delicate one here required. just to keep himself the north side of that 4, just to drop it into the right middle pocket and finish behind the 7. Well, he's gone the other way. I can't, well, I presume he's played to play it in the corner pocket, but he's left it tight. I would have much preferred to play that in the middle. Well, he's got it. So here's the pressure shot. Not only the fact that he's potting the 7, but he's got to get nicely on this 8 and get the cue ball across. Well, this match is still underway, and meanwhile Tony Sam's out the tournament. He's been beaten 4 racks to 3 in the loser's side by DJ Redo. And Tommy Yu just going to finish this match off. And dare we say it, Potman's had his chances, he's blown them. Needed a couple of good safeties when he should have been played, but he went for other options that didn't work out, and he's paid the price. And Tommy Yu finishes off and wins the match by 7 racks to 6. So there's been quite a lot happening since we came into this match. And let's see how that changes the bracket. Well, we've got Larry playing Houdini, and Larry's given Houdini 6 and out, and Larry's up 4-2 at the moment. And Bedhead's been waiting to play Tommy Yu. So I think what we'll do is we'll jump straight into the Larry match. So clearly either Larry's not been making too many mistakes, and the other side of the story is Houdini's not been getting many shots at his money balls. But here's an instance coming up here. Larry's on the 4, and after he gets the 5, the rest of these are Houdini's if he gets a shot. Well, that's not where I would have liked to cue ball to pot this 5. Now Larry's got to come across the table. And he's played it a nice little delicate touch. It's still a bit fiddly here, because that 7 ball doesn't have a lot of pocket choices in the right hand side of the table. So Larry's got to do some work. And he's managed to spin out behind it. Good shot. Now, the fatal mistake, of course, is hooking himself on the 8 ball here. Oh, that just crept in, and he's almost done it. He's okay. He's okay, he can just get there. A simple roll up the table, or roll down the table as we look, and he'll be up 5-2. So, with Tony Sam getting beat, that's one of Larry's big rivals in tonight's tournament gone. Let's have another look at that bracket. Well, really, in all honesty, I think probably Bedhead is Larry's next rival, I would say, in what remains of the tournament. Tom Webbs is going to give a bye to Potman. Potman's sitting there waiting and playing Tom Webbs. Unless Tom Webbs has appeared, Potman will be going through in a minute or two in that match, because he forfeited the first match. Yeah, I would say that Bedhead's the favourite, but is probably the second favourite to Larry to win this. But like Larry, Bedhead has come up against Tommy Yu, and that's going to be a close match. Tommy Yu's getting the 7 ball, so I think if the Larry match is finished, we'll dive back into this match, because that will be interesting to see. Bedhead's certainly I think he's a better qualified player than Potman, with the greatest of respect to him, to put Tommy Yu under a bit more pressure. So back to this match. Larry's leading 5-2, and I don't think he's got a shot in the 3, but he's looking to maybe, can he just kick this up the table? Well, I think he's got lucky there. That wasn't part of the plan, and Houdini's going to have to do his Houdini act here to escape. Now, Larry's just again doing what should be done, studying the table, because he knows he can pot the 3. It's about just getting out onto the 4 and avoiding the 8. He's done that, and he should be home and dry again. Well, no sooner have I said that, he's finished awkward on the 4. And I think he's a bit straight in the 5 as well, so he's again got to work the cue ball, because the 6 doesn't go past the 7. So he's going to have to manufacture something here and try and spin around behind the 6, maybe between the 6 and the 8. Oh, sorry, the 6 and the 7. I think he could possibly do that. Oh, he's just under hit it. It needed a bit more juice, and he wouldn't have ran into the 6. So now he's lining up. I presume he's lining up the combo. Is he trying to play the billiard? I don't think the billiard's on. I think he's lining up the combo. And he's got to send that 6 ball towards that left-hand jaw as we look, because that then is where it's going to make the hit on the 7 to pot the 7. And he's played it well. And we've seen it time and time again, that 8 ball well off that top rail as we look. And Larry needs to hit this short so he doesn't go behind it. Needs to finish the near side to us, and that's what he's done. Where's the cue ball going? No, this could be disaster. Oh dear, how's that finished? Oh, would you believe it? He's stuck behind the tip. He can't get to it. It's the only place in the table he can't pot the 8 ball. And there's no way he's getting to that direct. Out comes a jump stick. Oh, well. Well, the only saving grace for Larry is the fact that Houdini's money ball... sorry, no, it's 6 and out. My mistake. He just needs to pot the 8. I'm losing track here. I was thinking back to the last match. So that's a gift for Houdini. And right now that looks like the only way Houdini's going to get a rack, because Larry's up for the job. 9 balls going in, it's going to get respotted. 5 balls dropped up. And would you believe it, he's got no shot in the 1 other than a jump. Well, is the chat still working there? Because I don't see anybody chatting in the chat, in the live stream. Is everybody still awake there? So, what does Larry do here? He's got ball in hand. He's plotting his route out. He's made up his mind what way he's going to go. Now, I like that angle there that he's got, because you can send the cue ball that way and just find a gap. It's following the line. Look at that. Commentator's eye, that's perfect. Well, he's slightly hampered with the 8 ball, maybe he might be okay. And this is going nicely as well, as long as he finishes higher up on it. And that's perfect. Again, he's got a choice. He can actually come back the way if he wants and out, or he can go around and round and out. He's went around and out. And he's also got a perfect angle on the 7 just to punch it in and get the cue ball as close to the rail. Ideally, he would want to nail this cue ball right on the rail. And I'll give him 9 out of 10 for that. That's pretty good. He can just draw the cue ball, kill it, and leave himself dead straight in the 9 into the right hand corner. And more often than not, Larry gets it right with the shots that he's playing, which is where a lot of these other players are making the basic errors. But you have to have that knowledge to be able to play those certain shots, and we've seen it that lots of players are playing at lots of different levels in this game, just like real life, and that's why Virtual Pool 4 is a game for learning and improving. And there's them that want to learn and improve, and there's them that just like to hit balls, and everybody, each to their own, whatever level you want to get to. But I think it's always better if you just try and better yourself and try and learn shots. And Houdini's going to have to learn quite a lot right now because he's 6-3 down. Larry's at the table, trying to stick him in trouble. Well, that's one way of doing it. He's not got the snooker, but Houdini's not doing anything here. And that's, well, that wasn't a good attempt, was it? Because you could see plenty of that one ball to hit it. He's just given Larry another gift. But the table's not set nice, so Larry, being so generous, probably won't try and bury Houdini and go for 3 fouls, but I certainly would. He should get him tucked right behind that 8 and nail him to it. And, well, it's not quite nailed, but it's still a problem for Houdini. But that's, Popman should be watching this. Get Popman in the room and watch how you keep things tight. Because if Larry gets a second foul here, the table isn't set for a run out. Well, he's got the hit, but he's scratched, so it's 2 fouls, and this time Larry should be looking to get it nice and tight behind the 3. That's what he's got to do. There's no Mr. Nice Guy in pool tournaments. You get a chance to bury your opponent, get it buried, and get him stuck right behind the 3. And people will say, oh, why is Larry doing this? Well, Larry's doing this because the table isn't right to try and run out. And that's perfect. And if Houdini gets out of this, it'll be the greatest escape I've seen tonight. Because I don't think he can jump that at that distance. This is desperation. Well, he's played the kick. I thought he was trying to jump it. Doesn't matter. Match is all over. Larry wins the match by 7 racks to 3. And that is the way to take your opponent out. Well, the thing is, Larry might end up giving away 5 and out to some poor bugger in this tournament tonight, or close to that, and that's what's going to do him. But he played exactly the way I would have played in that rack there. Sized up the situation. The table isn't set for a run out. What do? Well, you stick your opponent in even more trouble. So Larry's won by 7 racks to 3. Let's see how that shapes up. But Larry's in the next round, but we want to jump into this Tommy U match. If we can get it to work. Right, well, Tommy U is getting a 7 ball. Now, Bedhead is a 2,200 player, and we've seen how Bedhead can produce the goods when he's under pressure. I think that was last week or the week before. And he's going to have to do it right away tonight because he's already 3-0 down. Tommy U's made the mistake. So here's his chance. And my lighter's just given up. The flint's gone. Shit. Yep, that lighter is now dead. I've killed the flint. It's not working. Well, emergency backup is what's required. Always come prepared. So this is Bedhead's chance to get off the mark. That 9 ball right against the top rail as we look. Now he's got to drop through far enough. I think he's the wrong side of this 7. I think he is. The cue ball's going back towards the 9 ball when he pots this 7. He's going to have to play this with a bit of English or leave it straight. which is what he's tried, and he's gone too far. So this is not simple. And that's a great shot. Played it with right hand English, punched the cue ball back up to the long side of the 9. And he's got an easy 9 to get off the mark. A couple of balls have went in there. We've lost the 2 ball and the 5 ball. And Bedhead's got a shot in the 1. And this is looking a bit ominous for Tommy Yu. Now he needs to be careful with this shot. He doesn't want to draw towards the 9, so he's going to punch it out. And this is all about controlling the pace. This is a perfect shot for controlling the pace, because he's going to play it so the cue ball goes up here, and the worst thing will happen is he'll hook himself behind the 9. He wants to just fall short. And he's going to nudge the 9, so he's got away with it. But that was the only danger in that shot there. But he's got on the 6. And how does that look? Well, that's perfect. Little draw off the 6. The only thing that's wrong now is he's stuck to the rail, which makes it more awkward. And the angle he's got, he would want to draw off. So that's now made this shot 10 times as difficult. He's got to really force this or leave the bank. This is where you make your mind up. And he's tried to force it. And you just couldn't generate enough pace. And now he's got the wrong bank because the 9 ball's in the way. So what does he do here? He can play the thin cut. Very dangerous. I think he's in a dilemma as to what to do here. Well, he's tried to miss the 9 on the bank, and that was always going to be the problem. So that's where it went wrong. That cue ball finishing tight in the rail on that 7 ball gave him no chance to get back up the table. Oh, a good attempt. And where's the cue ball ended up? Well, that's just ran far enough. But we've seen these before. When the ball's right in the pocket, it's difficult to control the cue ball. This looks simple, but believe me, it isn't. He's got it out. He's got a nasty little blind cut. I hate these shots. And he's overcut it. That's always what's going to happen. So a gift for Tommy Yu, and Tommy Yu regains his 3-rack lead here. So that's one that's got away for Bedhead. Now the 6 ball has gone in the bottom right, and Tommy Yu's got a shot on the 1. Now how does that 2 ball look? Well, the 2 ball goes past the 8. The problem that Tommy's got is the angle isn't conducive to getting on the 2 because the 9 ball's in the way. For a start, he's going to have to try and ride his luck here, and he's got neither, but once again, he should have the thin cut if he wants to take it on, but he's going to have to go all out. He could play the safety. He's got the cut and he's got the weight perfect, and that is pretty good, although he's slightly the wrong side of the 3, but he should still be able to pot this. Doesn't need to hit this too hard, he wants to just fall short, and that's fine. And here's the tester, because remember, his money ball is a 7 ball. It's all about getting on the 5. that is just, that's gone too far again. So Bedhead might have another chance here, because this is a danger of a scratch in the middle pocket. If he's going to play the pot and do nothing with the cue ball, there's a danger of the scratch. He's digging down, and that makes it even more difficult. Well, he's scratched anyway, so that's now a strong chance here for Bedhead. Well, Tommy Yu should have went that full-blooded at the 5. If he'd hit that firm and just drawn the cue ball, he would have drawn away from the pocket. He just drew into the pocket, and he's given a gift here for Bedhead. And he's going to have to just draw off this 8. He can't run through behind the 9, so he just has to draw back off the 8. Oh dear, well, that was unexpected. That was really unexpected. And Tommy Yu, lots of right English, try and kill the pace in the cue ball, and he's killed it too much. He's still got the cut. But that might be a crucial mistake there by Bedhead. Thoroughly expected him to get that. In goes the 9. And the pressure's now on Bedhead. Tommy Yu's got a 5-1 lead. And I'm going to have a drink. Well, a wing ball flew in again. Goodness knows what one it was. It was the 6 ball. I think that 5 ball's a good guide for a thin cut in the 1, but it was a good shot. So the table, like similar problem that Larry had, the table isn't set for a run out. The 4 and the 9 tied up. Well, a chance here for Tommy Yu to get a lot of slight bottom and left hand English on that cue ball and try and get the cue ball right up here by the 3. Well, he's went for the cut. Now, can Bedhead pot the 2, but leave the 2 over the pocket and try and get an angle off the 2 so he can draw up to the, well, what the hell's happened there? He's missed the 1 altogether. This is the problem with the ball's been deep in the pocket. You've got to use your V button and get right up to the pocket and have a look at how far in the pocket it is. So he's given ball in hand to Tommy. But the same situation here for Tommy. He's got to think about this 4 ball, and if he just rolls the 2 onto the 3, now you see he's not gone far enough. That cue ball needed to be down here. He needed to be down here to have a chance of getting an angle to split the 4. So now all he's going to try and do is get it safe. And the shot I play in this situation is a thin cut to the rail, a lot of right hand English, and send the cue ball over there and it punches it over to here. But he's played neither. Quick sneeze. So it's Bedhead trying to rescue the situation here. Trailing 5-1. Not many more racks to play with. And, oh dear, things are going from bad to worse. He's hung another one up. And Tommy Yu, we know, just needs the 5 and the 7. And I think Bedhead's feeling the pressure. Another chance, though. Needs to be a good one. He's overcut it, but would you believe it? He's got it safe. Well, it's safe-ish. There is a potential bank on. It's not a great bank, but you feel he's going to have to go for it. And if he doesn't get it, he would have left it on for Tommy Yu, but he's got it. Still needs another good shot here. Draw down towards the 9. And don't go too far. And he's going to go too far. Well, how would you like this to stay in the match? More or less. Not quite yet, but not far off it. You're going to have to go for the bank again. And he's done it. So that's a good out. A struggling out, but he got there. And he's still in it. Just trailing by 3. And there's the danger straight away. Right up there. 7 ball hanging very close to the pocket. Tommy Yu's got a shot in the 1, but once again he's no great position in the 2, but a good chance of a safe. Well, he's made his mind up again. He's going all out for the win. He's still got a lot of work to do though. Three just managed to wipe its feet and go in. Well, he can't leave himself on the short side of this. When I say the short side here, on this 5 ball, he needs to get the cue ball out. It would have made it easier to try and get position in the 6. Now, the cue ball's going that way and this way. And if he gets it right, and he needs to be accurate, he can get the gap between the 8 and the 9, but that needs a good accurate shot. Well, he's actually held it enough, but he's now left a very awkward shot into the middle. And he needs to avoid the gap and blocking himself here behind the 9. Well, he's managed to get through it. And just a little cut in the 7. And he's leading by 6-2. And don't let the cue ball run. So, Tommy Yu took his chance. He did well. Just needs one more. And there's a result come through. Potman. Well, he's played his last match in tonight's tournament. Houdini has beaten him by 4 racks to 1 on the 1 loss side. Tommy Yu's broke off. He's come up dry, and Bedhead's going to push this 1 ball between the rail and the 8 ball to try and nudge the 6 in. Well, he's actually pushed it to the 8 and done nothing. He's just left it hanging. Well, Bedhead might have seen his last shot tonight. If Tommy Yu takes his time here, there isn't a problem. Well, this is the problem. He's left himself way too far away from the 3 ball, and he's dead straight. So it's a big push through or a big draw back, one of the two. And he doesn't want to hook himself behind the 5 here. He doesn't want to do that. Oh, he's got the little nudge. The little nudge came at the right time. So just a 5. And anywhere with the cue ball. When I say anywhere, anywhere up here, as long as he's playing from this distance, he's on the 7. Oh, there's the worst place he could have left himself. He's left himself square, and this is a pressure one. And in it goes. So, Bedhead is going to have to battle his way through the one lost side. Tommy Yu wins the match by 7 racks to 2. So let's see the bracket. We've got Larry about to play Tommy Yu next. And we've seen Tommy Yu's capable. I mean, he's going to get a handicap, probably a similar handicap against Larry, I would imagine. And meanwhile, on the one lost side, Bedhead's just about to play DJ Redo, and Houdini's waiting for the result of that match. So we're just going to jump straight back in and see Larry's match with Tommy Yu. So the room is up. And what's all this chat about? I have black screen if I want to enter a room. Goodness knows. Why is my name getting mentioned? I don't know what he's talking about here. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. The Larry and Tommy Yu match, the room is up. The two players are in. Larry's won the lag. And Larry's given Tommy Yu... Now that is a good handicap for Tommy Yu, getting the 5 ball. And straight away, Larry's got a problem to deal with because the 5 ball is hanging over the pocket. Now he's potted the 8 ball in the break. He's looking at the 1 ball and he's looking at where the 2 is. Now Larry needs to take care of that 5 ball. That needs to go. And Larry's trying to find a line to get to the 2. I think, let's look at what he's got here. The problem is he's pretty dead straight in this 2, in this 1 ball. So he's trying to force an angle that wasn't there. And now Larry's in trouble. There's a thin and a very thin edge of that 2 showing. And if he hits this, well, he's got it. He's managed to get it. Because the worst thing he could have done there was not hit the 2 and leave ball in hand, because that would have been the rack over. Now Tommy Yu needs to be playing wisely, and he has done. Good safety. Larry's got the jump. Now, what does Tommy Yu do here? Does he play the 2 straight into the pocket? Try and get back onto the 3 and play the combo onto the 5? Or does he play a bank onto the 5? I think he'd be better off playing the pot. But he didn't really get into it with a lot of beef there, did he? Need to get that cue ball right up the table. He's still got the thin cut onto the 5. Is he going to play the billiard? Well, he's played the billiard and played it perfect. So that's the way to use that money ball when it's in that position. Larry didn't get the opportunity to move it, and Tommy Yu took advantage, and that's why he's in the lead. So in goes the 8 ball, bottom left hand corner. Tommy's got a shot in the 1 because it's hanging over the other corner. And what about the 2 ball? Well, 2 ball goes into the middle, needs to slow the cue ball. And that will do. Now a little nudge off this 6. And a little soft draw, and he's on the 3. He doesn't need to do a lot of fancy stuff here. That 6 ball will take the pace off the cue ball. But he needs to get he can punch into it. He's a risk of running behind the 5 though doing that. He needs to draw off it. Don't let the cue ball, and he's nudged it okay. So remember, Tommy Yu needs the 3, the 4 and the 5, and this looks fairly straightforward if he just plays it right. Now this is a little delicate touch required here. He can go the delicate way or he can go the other way. Get the cue ball around and down here. Oh, he's got the cut. And he's managed to find a gap. Risky shot. It's always dangerous to play for those narrower gaps. But it's now 2-0. Another wing ball goes in. And a shot in the one again. What ball went in there? The two's gone, so he just needs to get on the 3 and get back up for the 4. Well, this is going to be another draw shot, and these are always difficult to judge. So he'd be better off overdrawing it. If you overhit it, he knows he's going to come onto the bottom rail and go back out. You see, he's done neither. He's left himself high up in it. And not easy to get ideal in the 5 here, but he's got to play this with the right pace. So he's leaving himself at distance again, and he's now at an even awkward angle, and even more awkward. Things are just going out of line here, but he's got the cut, and that's all it needs. Just to pot the 5, and he's 3-0 up. So when it goes, and it's another one gone. And Larry needs to get in here and change this run of events. Larry trying to play a thin safety there and trying to tuck the cue ball, and in the end you get neither. But it's a right mess up at that top left hand corner. Now the thing is though, Tommy Yu won't be bothered, and if Tommy Yu uses his common sense here, these balls that are sitting here, he doesn't want to touch them because they're all Larry's balls. This is the one he's interested in, because that's his extra money ball. He doesn't need to worry about the 9, the 6 and the 7. Larry's got that problem to deal with. And Larry's played another safe. Tommy's got a chance of a bank on the 1, but look where the 2's finished. The 2's finished right on the 9 ball. And Larry will be glad of any opportunity to try and nudge those balls apart. I think there's enough room there for Larry to try and spin in behind the 2 and the 9. I don't know what he's trying to do. He's trying to nudge them. I mean, he's maybe looking at a combo there. He's not really improved the situation because the 2's still tied up. Larry's hooked on the 1. He's choosing the kick. How's his luck? Well, this might end up... Oh, I think he's maybe almost got away with it. Can Tommy either spin around the 4 or jump over the 4 and make the 1-9 combo? He could actually make the 1-9 combo by sending the 1 to the rail. He needs to send that 1 ball to there so it can catch the edge of the 9. Oh, almost got it. Well, unfortunately he's left it hanging, so this racks Larry's, and Larry will be glad of that. So Larry's off the mark, he's off and running. Doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get them on the board. Oh, the 9 ball's been kicked in by the 7, so the 9 gets re-spotted. And Larry's got a 1-7 combo to deal with now. And that's a good shot. Cue ball needs to bounce, and he's okay. Got a perfect angle off the rail. Miss the 9 ball and go over to that left hand side as we look for the 2 down the rail. Well, he'll cut his losses here, I think. I think he should just run through and leave the 3 into the middle. Unless he tries something more elaborate. Just a little soft run through. Going a wee bit further for comfort's sake because the cue ball's now wanting to run away a bit on him. This isn't perfect to hold for the 4. That's why he's digging down. He's okay. And this would be a good run out here for Larry to get that quick rack, the last one there, and to run out in this one. That would at least let Tommy U know that Larry's up for a fight. And Larry, of course, from the United States, a long-term virtual pool player. Been around as long as I have, if not longer. Certainly, I've known Larry online since 2000 and 2001. So that's 16 years anyway. And Larry's been there. One of the old timers. And in goes the 7. Something else went into the top left here. I don't know what it was yet. It was the 4 ball, and no prizes for guessing what Larry's going to do here. So now, even though Larry's still trailing, he's got his opponent nailed behind a 6. That's the way you have to leave them. That means he's going to either try and bank onto the 1 or use a couple of rails. And that's a good shot. Well, that's an even better outcome because he's potted the 1. And now, straight away, a chance here for Tommy U to put Larry in trouble. Oh dear, that's just nudged too far. Would you believe it? He's left the pot on. Just a bit too heavy there, Tommy. Could have had Larry in a lot of trouble. But Larry's still going to have to deal with this 8 and 9 because they're no good. And he's going to have to find some way of getting into them, and he certainly can off the 5 ball. If Larry can drop behind the 5, I don't think Larry will risk moving the 8 and 9 off the 3. That'd be too risky. He's going to try and get to the bottom rail and try and leave the angle. I'll get my little doodle thing straight. Leave the angle from there to get into them that way. That's what he should be doing. It'd be very risky to run into the 8 and 9 off the 3 because you've no guaranteed you're going to get onto the 5. So he's got to get to the... Oh, that's... Well, Larry, that's the worst shot you played tonight. Admit it. He chickened out there, and now he's got all sorts to do here. Well, he's played the inside English, and he's got the split, and he's on the 6. Wasn't the ideal way to do it, but he's got it done. Because the 6 was in a much more open position to play the split from the 5 than it was to play the split from the 3. But he got it done. He's still got a pressure shot in this 8, though. This isn't easy. And then it goes. So it's been a quick response from Larry. 3-0 down. And he got himself off and running between 2 quick racks, and he's worked hard in this one. And we're all square. In goes the 4. And he's got a shot in the 1. And it has to be said, for a player of Larry's calibre, this table is sitting pretty good. Only slight problems, the 5 ball. It's on the left rail, but everything else up till then and after it looks pretty good. Oh, he's just gone the wrong side of the 2. He's still okay as long as he doesn't collide with the 9 ball or the 7 ball. He needs to avoid him, and I think there's a high risk here he's going to hit one of them. He's found a gap. And now he's got a problem. He's tightened the rail. He's got to pot the 3. He might even nudge into the 5 here. He might try and ride his luck here with this 3 ball. This is not an easy shot. A very difficult angle and distance between the 2 of them. Now, can he hit the 5? Well, that's unlucky. He's got the 5 off the rail, but again, it's one of these blind cuts. Oh, just goes in, and he's got another one to deal with. This is now down to holding your nerve here, because Tommy U's extra money ball's gone, and both of them have to pot the remaining balls. But Larry's in control. It's all about this 6 ball. And he's hung it up, and there's a gap there. And the gap is there, and it's just got to be a little feather. So the mistake's been made, and again it's just because Larry was getting out of line there. He got out of line on the 3, managed to nudge the 5 out, left it an awkward angle, which then left him even more awkward and having to cut back the 6. Tommy U's got to finish it off though. Now, can he hold his nerve in the 9? Because this is what Tommy U needs to sort of stem the flow from Larry. But it was Larry's mistake that's let him in, unfortunately. So in goes the 9. And on goes Tommy U back into the lead. 4 racks to 3. And Bedhead has beaten DJ Redo by 4 racks to 2 on the 1 loss side. And I think he will be waiting to play the loser of this match. Possibly, I might be wrong. And meanwhile, Tommy U came up dry. Larry pushed the 1 ball around the angles and missed the combo in the 3. Well, Tommy U's played the billiard onto the 3. Can he squeeze that 1 past the 6? Yeah, he could, but into the jaw. And straight away, Larry's got another good opportunity here. This is another pace shot. Cut the 1 in such a way that you're playing it with the right pace to come up, miss the 8 and the 4, and I think he's going to nudge into the 9. He'll take that and could possibly try and draw back. He might even just roll. Probably the simplest shot is to roll the 4 into the middle, because if he plays the 4 from here, the cue ball's going through for the 5. I think he's slightly the wrong angle, but he's okay. He can certainly go over to that first diamond, just over to here, and maybe out a wee bit. He'll still be on the 5. Playing it with a wee bit of left English just to punch it onto the line, and that's perfect. And now, although he's on the 5, he's probably going to play the 6 long here. Unless he plays a big beefy draw, he might just draw past the 9 over to the right hand side. But once again, he's left that awkward shot, and this is where it might go wrong again for Larry. Larry's just making that odd mistake on one certain shot, and he's cut it to the rail this time. So it's deja vu. It's exactly the same as the last rack. Tommy Hugh's coming to the table. The 6, the 7, the 8 and the 9 left the table. And he's got a bigger problem though with this shot in potting the 6 and getting to the 7. Very tough. In goes the 6. Is he missing the 9? No, he isn't. Well, Larry might breathe again. What does Tommy do? He could go all out here for the reverse bank. He could bank the 9 down into this pocket. He needs to get the cue ball moving. He's went for it. He's got the double bank. He's perfect on the 8. Take whatever you can get. And he's got a nice angle to get back up for the 9. And Larry will be kicking himself here if he runs out. This could be a crucial rack. It could open up a 2-rack lead. And I think his weight looks pretty good as well. Just gone a bit too far. Oh, he's gone way too far. Well, you've got to play the bank. You've surely got to play the bank. Look at the bank to the diamond. He's playing the cut. I would play the bank. That cue ball is going to run around the table here. Well, he's held his nerve and the cue ball's running okay. Well, that's well done by Tommy. And Larry's 2 mistakes have cost him dearly. That's what's created the gap. Tommy Hugh leads by 5 racks to 3. Dry break. And no shot for Larry, I think, on the 1. We can try... Well, he could play a billiard onto the 4. He can try a cut onto the 4. Or he could try and get distance. He's went for distance. And he's just got the cover. That will do. Well, there's still a lot of life in this. Oh, good evening, Mal. Nice to see you. There's still a lot of life in this match if Larry just cuts out that error. He's always making that error. That's the one error on a positional shot, is giving himself too much to do. And that's why he's digging holes for himself and creating problems. And I think it is, you know, it's maybe just a case of Larry does not play the game as much as he used to. No doubt about that. And meanwhile, Larry's gone all over the place here. He's missed a glaring 1 ball. And certainly if you don't put the hours in at this game, then you're going to be found lacking that game sharpness when it comes to tournaments, and it also comes to giving away handicaps. So Tommy Hugh has a chance to get onto the 3. Good angle. Well, in the last 2 racks, Larry's got out of line and missed a crucial shot. And in this rack, he's missed a glaring 1 ball in an open pocket, and he's given Tommy Hugh an excellent chance to run out. Well, run out at least to the 5 ball, because he's just going to nudge that right in now, and Larry's in deep trouble. So Tommy Yu is now 6-3 up. Larry's at the point of no return. And it has to be said though, anybody that's watching the stream, it's all Larry's own problems here. He's lost 3 racks in a row, and all down to his own doing. Tommy Yu's not done anything other than take the chances that he was given, and he's more than capable of doing it. Any 2,100 player should expect to be able to move the cue ball and run out if they're given that chance in an open table, and Tommy Yu's done his side of the deal. No criticisms of Tommy for that. Now Larry's in again, and it needs a good one here to get on the 4 nicely. And now he's got the angle. It's a cut back, but the cue ball's natural path is over towards the 6. And I think he's actually left himself a wee bit short again. Just uncomfortably over that 6 ball now. Just nudge the 5 in. And now I don't think he can draw back for the 7. He's got too much angle. He's got to run the cue ball. And in fact, that's why he's cutting it into the top right. Or the bottom left as we look. And that's a good shot. But it's not done and dusted, this rack. And has that gone far enough? Well, it's just uncomfortable that the 8 ball's near the 9. It's always in your mind here when you're playing this shot. And he's got to get the cue ball out for the 9. He's got it off the rail. And it's dead straight into the middle. So he's got 1 back. But no margin of error now for Larry. And I don't think he's... Well, the 2 balls going. 2 balls into the top left. He's got a shot in the 1. And Larry, I think, is going to have to run through onto the 6 and the 9 here, and hopefully he finishes on the 3. I don't think he can do anything else. Well, he's trying to draw back off it, and that's why he's missed the 1. Maybe didn't fancy taking the risk of going into the 6 and the 9 there to get through in the 3. It would have been a risky shot. That's why he dug down and tried to draw off the 1, but seemed to rush it a bit. And again, left a tough one for Tommy. Now Larry will be out with the jump stick. If he can make that gap. I think there's enough room there. And he needs to actually hit the jaw in the ball. Well, I think Larry put a bit of unwanted English on it. He needed to hit that jaw and the ball at the same time so he could get the cue ball out, but he hit it the wrong side, and the spin just drew the cue ball into the pocket. So, well, dare we say it, it's ball in hand for Tommy Yu. He's got the 3, the 4 and the 5, and this match should be over. He needs to finish the short side of the 4, and he's done that. Now, I would prefer to draw back off the 4 here. He's running through. Well, can he still cut this? I think he can. Where's the cue ball going to go though? So this for the match. I think that's what he's worried about. Well, in goes the 5. And that match from the halfway mark onwards at 3 racks all, everything went wrong for Larry. So Tommy Yu wins the match by 7 racks to 4, and I do believe it's going to be Larry we're watching yet again in the next match, because as we see, I thought, what the hell happened to Bedhead? Did I get that wrong? Did I say Bedhead won that match? It was DJ Redo won the match. Yeah, and DJ Redo's playing Houdini. Tommy Yu's now moved through to the hot seat, and Larry's now waiting on the loser of the Houdini DJ Redo match. Now Houdini's getting a 7 ball, which I think is going to make sure that he wins that match, because I don't think DJ Redo's got the ammunition to cope with that handicap, especially when 3-1 down. So the winner of this match is going to play Larry for a place in tonight's final. Houdini cuts the 1. Cue ball's not running hard enough, or it's run too hard because he's finished on the wrong side of the 2. But once again, he should stick the cue ball right in behind the 7. But Houdini doesn't do those sort of things. He just tries to make balls that are just going to give him another ball, not going to give him great position. Well, look at what DJ Redo's giving him back. All he's got is an edge. But he can certainly... The problem here is that 3 balls and he hold the 2 ball close there. So Houdini's safety shot there, no thought in it at all. Because the 2 ball was always going to be adjacent to the pocket. It was never going to go far with the 3 ball stopping it. And DJ Redo, though, way off the mark with his shot in the 2. So we've got a full house tonight, folks. We'll get 9 people watching. I'm just sorry I couldn't do any more sailing for you, Sickpool. I had to get the Friday night 9-ball tournament. It's going to be the first one I'm going to stream in full for a long time. So we've got DJ Redo at the table, and well, he's also at the point of no return, because he's now at the dangerous end of the rack. He's got the 5 ball to pot. He's going to try and get on the 6. He's overcut the 5. And he's possibly got away with it, because remember, Houdini, his extra money ball is that 7 ball. Well, that's ended up really awkward for DJ Redo, and I think, well, stranger things have happened, but in all honesty, with ball in hand, you would like to think that Houdini could at least pot the 5 and leave himself on the 6. And then he's got a fair to middling chance that he's going to have some sort of pot on the 7 to win the match. Now that right there is a hit and hope, and just hope you get lucky in the 7. Again, very little thought put into it, and that's why he's ended up there. I don't have any sympathy for a player who not necessarily doesn't have all the skills. Well, he's banked to 7 and won the match. But you've got to start thinking a bit more about how you're playing. Now, is DJ Rudy quit there or what? That's a bit laggy. But he just actually drew that ball up the table, drew it into the 7, and fortunately left himself a bank. But that's no the way to play the game. But anyway, Houdini's through, and that's all he'll be bothered about. But unfortunately for Larry, and I'm saying unfortunately for Larry, Larry's going to be giving Houdini a hefty handicap. And it's a race to 4, remember. to see who's going to play Tommy Yu in tonight's final. And don't forget, Tommy Yu was the man that put Larry into the one loss side. So Larry is going to be well up against it. Now, what the hell does that say there? That's got some weird number below Houdini. Let me just do a refresh on this. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Let's go back to the bracket. Right, he's getting a 6 and out. So Larry's going to struggle in this match unless he starts running balls. He definitely is. So we're in the first rack. Who's Tommy Preacher? That's not Tommy Yu, is it? So Larry's at the table. He's on the 3 ball. He's got absolutely no shot in the 4. So what's he going to do? Well, Larry's decided to try and play safe. Now, if I was Houdini and thought about what I was doing here, I'd be trying to edge off that 3 ball and coming down this way, back up there. He's nudged it the other way. And look at what Larry's been left. He's got a thin edge of the 3. He might nudge it off the 4. I mean, that's what he's almost done. And this is a bit of a mess, this first rack. And Larry this time is going to try and nudge the 3 just along behind the 9. Surely he's not trying to cut, is he? Yes, he's going for the cut. So he's made his mind up. He just knows that he can't make a mistake. So he's either going to play 1 or 2 shots here. He's going to leave this for a combo 6 and 8 into the middle, or he's going to get this side and play the 6 long into that pocket. So he has to make the choice. So he's playing the combo, and there's a slight problem here because that potting angle of this 6 ball means the 6 ball's going that way. And that's why he's played it firm. So that was good thinking. You had to play it firm to get it moving, because he knew it was heading down towards the rail in the pocket. And the only thing that's going to go wrong with this shot is finishing the wrong angle in the 7. And that's not perfect, but he can just drop it in. But he's got to watch the cutback. Always easy to overcut this to the jaw. Just got to roll it in and let it drop. So Larry's off the mark. But Larry only knows one way of winning, and that's just to go for it. And he did well. Yeah, Salty Sea Dog, yep. Yeah, well, as I said in the video earlier today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into those, not the tutorial bit, I'm going to get into the, what the hell is it again, is it the events or something, to actually start trying to learn the sails and stuff like that. Try and learn how to use the ropes, because I'm doing everything just autopilot. I think the next time I go out, I'm going to go down to the South Atlantic and see what the big seas are like down there. They're bound to be big waves. In fact, when I first started this stream earlier on tonight, the table was actually rocking. The table was bopping up and down. The balls were rolling about themselves. So, meanwhile, Larry's down to business. He's on the 8 ball. Just kill the cue ball. Get the 9 into the middle. So Larry started off strongly. And remember, it's only a short race to 4, so he had to start strong. Yeah, I'm going to try and learn how to work these damn sails. But I'm just doing a bit of local sightseeing at the moment. That was just in the waters that are just to the west of where I live. Where I was sailing today was only about 25 miles from my house. Did you manage to edit your boat yet? And change the colour of your hull and your sails and everything? Now, for anybody that's watching this, I'm talking to a fellow yachtsman. I was online earlier today. I was actually finishing off a trip on Sail Away, which is a new yachting simulation game that's on early access on Steam. And I'm just talking to one of the guys that actually... oh, the extra patterns, that's actually... There are two preset skins. When you go to edit the boat, there are 2 preset skins to the right hand side that you can choose. No, I bought the game 3 days ago. No, those 2 skins are in your game. If you go to edit the boat and you look at the right hand side of the screen when you're choosing all the different paint colours, there's 2 choices for preset skins for the boat. And you can choose them. What I did was I chose one of them but didn't like the colours, so I changed the colour in the preset skin. It's exactly the same place where you edited the name of your boat, and if you look at all the little colour palette on the left, but if you look at the right of the screen, you'll see the choices for the 2 presets for the boat. Well, Houdini has made a mistake in the 6, and I think that'll be his last shot in this rack. Although, having said that, Larry's got to get nice on this 7 ball off the 6, and it's... He needs to get off the rail, and that's okay. So the tournament's been running for just over 2 hours. Oh, good evening, Andy. This is my biggest attendance, my biggest audience yet. I'm into double figures. Yes, it was all at sea, Andy. You need to watch my sailing videos. They're hilarious. Oh dear. Just to let you know, Andy, now forgive me for pronouncing your name wrong, but Jabaware Scientistry is one of my fellow sea dogs that joined my sailing trip this afternoon. He appeared out of thin air and spawned his boat right behind me when I was heading down to the Ailsa Craig. Right, back to the match. I'm being distracted here. Back to the important job tonight. We've got Larry at the table, leading by 3 racks to 0 in this race to 4 on the 1 loss side. he's certainly got a shot in the 1 ball, but he's going to have to manufacture something pretty good to get on the 2, which is tucked behind the 6 and the 9. Well, we know what he's going to do here. He's going to try and hide that 2 ball, and he can just feather the 2. Well, I thought that would have been the shot to play. Just feather it, yeah, just past the 6 ball. Try and keep the 2 ball hidden behind the 6 and the 9. And send the cue ball down towards the 4, but I don't think he likes that shot. Well, how's that? Well, I think he's got it. Well, this is, we're going all the way tonight, folks. No worry about me cutting the stream at 10:30, because this is still my week off. So we'll have tonight's tournament in full. And a quick glimpse at the bracket for any latecomers. We've got Houdini and Larry playing here to get to tonight's final. And if Larry wins the match, like he looks as if he's going to, he's going to play the man that sent him to the 1 loss side. And we saw how Larry's match went all downhill from 3 racks all with Tommy Yu. Larry was making the mistakes and Tommy Yu was punishing him. And if Larry plays Tommy in the final, no doubt Tommy will still be getting the 5 ball as his extra money ball. So let's see if he can complete the job here. And the only one that could possibly cause a problem is that 6 ball. Although the 6 ball's open into that middle pocket, it's the other side of the middle pocket as we look, and there's a strong danger of colliding with balls that you don't want to, especially considering where the 7 ball is. So this is where Larry's got to, he might actually try and pot this 6 past the 8, and he's gone too far again. And this is what Larry did in his match against Tommy. He just got out of line on the 1 crucial shot, and he's going to have to try and pull this out the bag here, and he's managed to get the 6, and he's still out of line. This still isn't good. Of course, Houdini now remembers 6 and out here, and Larry's overcut it, and Houdini's going to bank the 7. And in it goes. Where's the cue ball going? He's okay. So Houdini's off and running. And again, Larry's just going wrong in that 1 shot at the wrong time. And it's costing him. And meanwhile, Houdini's broke off and sunk the cue ball. And, well, let's have a look. That 6 ball certainly goes into the corner, no problem. That's where he's going to end up taking it if he gets that far. Listen, Andy, see when you actually sit down at the tiller on that yacht and you look at the back, you look out the back of the boat, that's the one that makes you feel seasick. If you sit too close, that's why I like to sit zoomed out and looking at the boat from a distance. That way you don't feel so seasick. Now Larry's got no need to try and nudge this 6 and 9. Well, goodness me. What the hell's Larry doing here? He's failed in the 3 ball. Now, if Houdini just thought a bit more tactically here, he could put Larry in a lot of trouble. I mean, he's going all out to pot the 3, and he's just relying on luck getting on the 4. And he split the 6 and 9. And he's the wrong side of the 4. Now, can he pot the 4 and somehow get that cue ball into the middle of the table to a shot in the 5? What's he doing? He's not trying to cut it in the other pocket, is he? Well, if he gets this, that's a great effort. But unfortunately, he's hung it. So, once again, it's not a perfect shot here. He's got to control the pace. And he's played it nice. My nose is really itchy. Oh dear. Oh well. You've seen it, folks. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm not saying anything else, because this match is going out of shape here. Larry's still leading by 3 racks to 1, and he's got it reasonably safe. Well, Larry's hanging on by the skin of his teeth here, even though he's leading by 3 racks to 1. But he just needs the 8 and the 9, and he's through to the final. And I think we'll give him that 9 ball. So Larry's out for revenge, Tommy. Here comes Larry. So Larry wins the match by 4 racks to 1. And we'll just confirm that in the bracket. So once it updates, Larry's through. And he's now going to get his second chance at Tommy U. And if we look at the payout, the runner-up gets $260 dollars and the winner gets 525. So Tommy U and Larry's match is now up. Larry's in the room. Tommy U is out in the chat. Now he might just hang there and wait until he gets his audible alarm to tell him that his room's up and ready, and keep Larry stewing in the room. But in he goes. The lag will be taking place. And I don't know who's who. I think that might be Larry on the left. Woody looking for a game. He should know that I'm live streaming on a Friday night. So, just to recap, the handicap is still the same. Tommy U is getting a 5 ball. The only difference is it's the final and it's a race to 9 rather than a race to 7. Oh, I've lost some viewers. They've gone to bed. Well, a good chance for Tommy to hide this cue ball. He's played the bank come safety. That's a good shot. That's got Larry in lots of trouble. And the reason he's in lots of trouble is because if Tommy gets ball in hand, the 3, the 4 and the 5 ball are all sitting there for the taking, and Larry's hit the 9. So straight away Tommy Yu has ball in hand, and he's got the chance to get this first rack on the board. Well, that's pretty straight, and a little drawback of a couple of inches will give him the 4 ball if he can squeeze the cue ball past the 8, or he could run through. And this is where you've got to be accurate with this little draw for position. You see, that's why he's not controlled it. He'd probably been better running through. He had a bigger margin of error to run through and play the 4 into the middle, and now he's got no shot. It's never easy to control those draw shots to play position in such a narrow window, and that's giving Larry a lifeline. And Larry's looking to, well, I don't think he can see the 4, can he? No, he's going to try and swerve round it, I think, past that 8 ball. How's his luck? And that luck is pretty good. Look at where he's left Tommy. Tommy's stuck behind the 8. And now it's on the other foot now. Larry's got ball in hand. The problem ball's the 6 ball. He's going to have to deal with that one way or another. And he's just looking at positioning the 6 on the rail there. Just seeing how the position is to actually make the potting angle. He's got plenty of room. He just has to get onto that 5 in such a way that he can get to the rail. So he'll be looking to maybe play the 5 from there and get here. Well, he's gone the other way, and I don't think that's perfect. Let's have a look. No, he's going to run into this. This is not ideal. He's playing a very delicate one, and that's a good shot. Well, here's a tester. He's got one of those awkward angles on the 8. Well, that was a first rack that could have went either way. In the end, Larry's managed to get it put away, and he's off the mark. But stay tuned, folks, because this match could go anyway. Tommy's more than capable of potting 2 and 3 balls at a time to win racks, and when he's got this 5 ball as his extra money ball, that makes him very dangerous. So all the time Larry's under pressure. These balls are wide open. He's potted the 5 ball in the break, but he's got no shot in the 1. And he's looking at keeping it tight. How does that look? Oh no, he's left it open. So once again, Tommy's got a chance to get distance. And that's a good shot, because Larry's now hampered by the 9. So he's not looking directly at the 1 ball, he's looking down on the cue ball, and he's got to zoom out to get any sighting on this 1 ball. And he might look at banking the 1 up the table and trying. The cue ball's going to go to the right. He's actually hit it way too hard. Has he got lucky? I think he has. And Tommy, using the old noddle, a bit of common sense, keeping Larry under pressure, creating problems for him. And Larry's missed a jump. And this is now a great chance for Tommy Yu, because It's, well, tell a lie. I've just realised, I've just noticed the 5 ball is missing. The 5 ball's down. And it's not going to be quite as easy as I first thought, because the 7 and 8 are more or less tied up. And that needs to bounce. Let's have a look. Well, that 7 ball, that is really tight. That, I think, pots from that angle. It certainly looks like it pots from that angle. He's got to get on the 6 first of all, though, and this is a cutback. Needs to watch where the cue ball's running. Yeah. Well, Tommy had his chance. Now, what does Larry do here? He's not going to do anything silly like try and nudge the 7 and 8 here and hold to his luck to get on the 6. Surely not. Because he's not perfect in the 4. Well, he's actually comboed the 7 into the pocket. I don't know whether he played it or whether he didn't, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And a nice nudge in behind the 6. And he's looking good for this rack. So Larry is getting off to a good start now. In the last match he had, or the first match he had with Tommy Yu, he was 3-0 down. And I don't think I joined the match from the start, and he was 3-0 down, and then he got himself back into it, and then from 3-all, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So he's broke off in rack number 3. He's potted the 6 ball. He has a bank on the 1. It looks a good bank. And he should have a shot in the 2 next. Just run that cue ball off the rail and back out. Well, it's going to double bank. He's still got in the 2. Now, if he can get as straight as he can on this 3, it makes it a lot more comfortable for playing the 4 to the 5. Well, I mean, there's got to be some voodoo working on Larry tonight, because he's getting to a point in the rack where he's in control, and all of a sudden something silly starts happening, and he's played a plain shot there, scratched straight into the middle pocket, and Tommy Yu's got a gift. And so it's 2-1. And I just get the feeling this match is going to take a lot of twists and turns. We all know Larry's ability, but all too often tonight in the matches that we've seen, he's creating a lot of problems for himself. Most of them are self-inflicted. There's not much where Larry's been put into a lot of problems. Most of the problems that have ended up at his table have been his own doing. And he'd probably be the first to say that. So once again, he's got a wide open table. And goodness knows what's going to happen this time. I'm getting tired, but I don't care. I'll be up to probably 1 o'clock in the morning. dear. Well, Larry's got to be older than me. I mean, I'm going to be 53 on my birthday, and I would think Larry's got to be in his 50s. And I think maybe he's showing signs of wear and tear. The fact that he doesn't play as much now, and in all honesty, it's like what the snooker players get, where the concentration just goes. You just cannot keep your mind on the job as focused as you used to do it. And again, he's given a gift here to Tommy Yu. Made the mistake at the wrong time, and a handful of balls have gone in there. Two of them were the money balls, the 5 ball and the 9. They get respotted, and Tommy Yu's sitting on the 1. So the only problem in this situation is that the 1 ball's tied up. The 5 ball's tied up with the 9. Yeah, I think that's maybe what it is. That the old father time is catching up with Larry. And that's certainly my problem. I certainly don't play the game as much as I used to, and I miss far too often. A lot more than what I mean. You used to miss in the past as well, but certainly I'm struggling a lot more now, just to keep your mind on the job and what you're doing. And there's no doubt Larry's got other. I think he plays a bit of poker. I think I've said that in the past. I think he likes to have a gamble online. Probably gets a lot more enjoyment doing that than he does playing virtual pool nowadays, seeing as it's mostly dead in terms of competition wise. It's not like it used to be in the early days of virtual pool 3. Certainly it was a lot more competitive. There was a lot more happening. Friday night 9 ball used to get at least 16 and 20 odd players in it. Mind you, it wasn't double elimination back then, it was straight knockout, but it used to get a fair bit more interest. So the thing is, there's not a lot to keep drawing you back to the virtual pool lobby. More the fact that you just love the game, and you like to have a game now and again. And certainly Larry doesn't spend anywhere near the time he used to, and that's probably the same for most people. Getting older, a lot of people have got families and other things to do more important than sitting online playing a game for hours on end. That doesn't happen. But like any real life game of pool or snooker, if you don't keep your eye in, you lose your touch, you lose your feel for the pace of shots, and you need to play for a good few hours and then to get that touch or try and find that touch. And when Larry's popping in just to play Friday night 9 ball and the occasional Scotch doubles tournament when it goes ahead, that's really not enough to keep himself on top of his game. He's lost a fair bit of consistency, I would say that. But he's still very dangerous when he's behind. But once again, Larry's made the mistake at the wrong time, and it's another gift. Tommy Yu, if he gets a thin cut, he's into the lead. And I'm looking at the stream. The stream's been buffering for a long time and it's now recovered, but the stream on my end looks as if it's about an hour behind. Hopefully the stream's running okay for you guys that are watching, if there's anybody still there. Well, Larry's left the 1 ball hanging over the pocket again. And maybe Larry's trying too hard. I don't know. I don't know what to suggest. Far be it from me to suggest anything he could do, but things are starting to go wrong again. Now, can Larry run this rack out and get himself back on terms here? Absolutely no reason why he shouldn't. Now, all important that he gets this side of the 5 ball. He knows that's what he has to do. He has to get this side of it. He's just made it. And that makes it a lot more easier. The only problem is he's too close to the rail for comfort here. He needs to dig down and he doesn't want to draw behind the 7. And that's why he's now got out of line. So again, we're struggling for that control. And now he's got to keep this safe. The only good thing is he's potted the 5 ball. So that's Tommy Yu's extra money ball gone. But he needs to get this safe somehow. And that's reasonably good. Question is though, is it tight enough to the rail to prevent Tommy Yu trying a thin cut? Yes, it seems to be. And I don't think Larry will be refusing it. That's 1.5 inches off the rail. Larry, when he gets a sniff of a pot like this, he goes for it. And he's putting all his eggs into one basket, and he's got to get that cue ball back up for the 7. And is it going to get there? Because he's going to have to dig out another one. So he's put himself right on the line here. And you just cannot keep doing shots like this to win racks. Or keep the run going. Something's going to go wrong. And that's bouncing nicely this time though. But you don't want to keep having to do shots like that to keep yourself in racks. But he's going to square the match up. 3 racks all. Oh, that thought twice there, but it went in. So for anybody who's maybe a late comer, just a quick reminder to you, this is tonight's final in Friday Night 9 Ball double elimination tournament. It's a race to 7 on the winner's side, a race to 4 on the 1 loss side, and tonight's final is a race to 9. And we have Tommy Yu, who's from Germany, playing against a veteran virtual pool player, Larry, from the United States. And we're tied up at 3 racks all. Tommy Yu at the table. No shot in the 3. He's got a bank on though. As long as he doesn't get the double kiss. I think he's playing off the edge here. Well, he got that a bit thicker than I would have liked, but he's actually got away with it. Larry's going to jump the 4. And Tommy Yu, who is player 1, has the 5 ball as his extra money ball. Anytime Tommy Yu can pot that 5 ball with a legal shot, he wins the rack. Oh dear. Well, Larry got the jump, and again it's gone wrong at the wrong time. And goodness knows how many times we've seen this tonight. Tommy Yu, ball in hand on the 3 ball. If he can get a nice simple shot in the 4, well, he's made that difficult because he's gone too far. But he just needs to roll the 4 in. The cue ball's got to finish in the 5. He surely can't lock himself behind the 8. Just got to give 100% on the 4 ball. He's going to have some sort of shot in the 5. So in it goes. Now, from Larry tying the match up very quickly, he's going to give away another rack. And Tommy Yu's going to go back into the lead, provided he doesn't miss the 5 or scratch with the cue ball. So the tournament's been running for 2.5 hours. And I think we could approach the 3-hour mark, depending on how these racks go. And Tommy Yu has broke dry. Larry's going to have to plot his way carefully here for this 4 and 5 ball. And he's missed the 2. But likewise for Tommy Yu, if he can get on this 3 in a good position, he should be home and dry in this rack. And he needs to miss the 3. He's nudged it, but he's okay. And now he's got it simple. He's going to have to play a gentle shot in the 4 and leave this 5 long into this bottom right hand corner pocket as we look. He's going to have to be as gentle as he can to stop the cue ball running away. Just a gentle pot. And in it goes. And he's got a good margin of error here. And a good guide down the rail here for this 5 ball. So he should get this 10 out of 10. So once again, the mistake was made. And from tying the match up very quickly, Larry's now trailing by 2. But straight away, Tommy, I think all night he cannot buy a ball in the break. Can't get anything. And I haven't looked to check and see whether Tommy's breaking from the same place all the time, because if I was him, I'd be doing something else. And Larry's managed to double bank the 1. What's DOF? Or is that DQF? DOF? Is that digital something? I've never heard of it. What, is that like motion blur or something? I never noticed that in the depth of field. I never noticed that in the settings. I'll have a look at it tomorrow. Well, the same thing's happening again here. Every rack seems to be taking the same turn. Tommy Yu's back at the table, ball in hand, and why he's putting it? He has got ball in hand, is he not? I'm just wondering why he put the cue ball there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's going to be 6-3 to Tommy Yu. And all of a sudden this match is showing signs that it's beginning to run away from Larry, and he can only help himself. He can't rely on Tommy Yu make mistakes. He's just taking the chances he's been given. 5 balls going in the break. It gets respotted. Tommy Yu's got no shot in the 1. He could try reverse banking it down to the 6 because it's a big pocket, and that's what he's done, and in it goes. Yeah, I'll have a look at that in the settings tomorrow and see if it makes any difference in the quality of picture. Oh, Tommy's got a nasty one here if he's going to run out this rack. It all hinges on this 3 ball. And if it holds its line, it's there. Now, if only he doesn't scratch in the middle, because the danger is getting into this too much and sending the cue ball there into the pocket. He's managed to avoid it. And now it's 7-3. And I have to agree with a lot of guys that have watched the streams, when a player is over 2,100 and another player is over 2,400, in all honesty they should be playing scratch. For a player who's 2,158 to be getting a 5-ball against Larry is really, it doesn't bear out the true score in the match, because, you know, if Tommy was having to run the rack to win the rack, I'm pretty certain he wouldn't be 7-3 in front. But then again, when Larry does shots like that and scratches in the middle, it's help yourself time. Make the most of what you've got. Needs to leave that angle in the 3, get the cue ball out for the 4, and he's looking good here. He's got it sitting nice. The 5's going to be down the rail. Just doesn't want to overdo this. And that looks pretty good. The only slight thing is he's got the wrong angle now. Does he want to play this with a lot of inside English and try and check this cue ball right up? You've got to be brave and go for it. He needs to get a lot on it to get the cue ball to come inside. Well, he's coming in the long side, and that's still good enough. Just to roll in on the 5. Well, it's do or die now, and the odds are very slim on Larry getting himself out of this situation, I'm afraid, because everything, as I say, everything that can go wrong has gone wrong for Larry, and through no help from anybody else, he's managed to battle his way through to the final, and he's playing the guy that put him into the loser's side, and this handicap just is not doing Larry any favours whatsoever. And Larry, having made so many mistakes at the wrong time, is just giving Tommy Yu all of these little chances to pot 2 and 3 balls just to win a rack. And as I say, he's more than capable of doing it. Even I could do that. So this for the match. And it's been all too easy for Tommy Yu, and I think we need to have a discussion with Steve Chaplin about this handicapping system for 2,000, and anybody 2,100 and over should not be getting 5-ball against players who are higher ranked, higher rated than that. It just isn't fair. Well, that's tonight's final over, folks. Thanks for everybody that's been watching. Thanks for your company. Thanks for the little bit of conversation. Good luck to my fellow sailor. I will no doubt see you again in the high seas somewhere in the world. And we will see you again next week sometime. Probably having to cut you short at 10:30 again for beddy buys, because I'll be back at work on Monday. But it's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you again sometime. Thank you and good night.